name is Carlos PIPO Lopez, born and raised in Puerto Rico, specifically in the area of Carolina. It's close to the airport, close to the beach, a lot of nature, and it was a developing area, so a lot of construction when I was growing up in the late 60s. And so we used to go hang out always, fight, playing fight, and in every grass field we can find, and in the woods. It was super fun. For martial arts, I started around when I was 8 years old, and there was near my house, near the cultural center, and they opened some karate. Of course, due to the influence of the Bruce Lee's movies, you want to practice something like that. After a couple of months, the instructor left. So even though another instructor came a couple of months later, my grandparents didn't want nothing to do with that. So it wasn't until 17 years old and that I could pay for my classes, and one of my friends who started there, again, at that time, he was doing Taekwondo. He went to Korea and everything, so he was doing old school Taekwondo. And we used to run barefoot on the street. And after a couple of months, I was the only one with him. So I guess it was too extreme for the group of people that was around. Later, I started in the university, and I got the chance to meet a gentleman who was doing JKD. He was the rep for Dangino Santo at Hart Tri-City Sute in Puerto Rico. He was studying with me, so it was pretty easy to start talking about it. I was doing Taekwondo, he was doing that, and little by little, everybody told me, man, you should be with him and train with him. So after a couple of things happened, I started in JKD.
So that was your first introduction to Filipino martial arts?
Yeah, and I do have to say, when he gave me the kind of like, this is what I do in his school, and then he did a little bit trapping, I recognized it immediately from Bruce Lee's movie, but when he added the Filipino part, the sticks and the blades, I always, since I was a kid, was in love with blades. My grandfather had a lot of blades, and even a sword from the Hispanic-American War. So yeah, oh yeah, I want to do that. Yes, yes. So I did the whole thing, the whole package. And back in early 2000, I was already an instructor for a couple of years, like 10 years of the system that my instructor did with all the JKD, the Muay Thai, and he put a little bit of philosophy, etc. So one of the guys who I met later on, he started to think about going to the States and due to work. And so he moved to Tampa, and he invited me to one of the Santo seminars there. And we trained. It was easy because I already have all the knowledge. Then at that seminar, Ray was there. We didn't met him, but later on, he got to meet Ray and say, man, I want you to come to my wedding. And I met the guy who we saw the truck in front that have the license plate with the triangle and the sword. That was 2001. And I met Ray in a wedding. So we became friends, and before anything else. A couple of months later, he came to Puerto Rico, and we trained, and I fell in love with the art and the friendship, the brotherhood. It was great. The curriculum wasn't like it is now, and there were no videos at that time. Later on, one of the guys who did an excellent job created the videos of the 5 levels, but Ray wasn't in there. So it created a lot of discrepancies, and it was a little bit more difficult for people to grasp. And the way, even though he did a great job, there were things that Ray was not constantly teaching, and it was more difficult for people, especially abroad in Europe, to understand. Then Ray would go and show things, and they won't be in the videos, you know, the stuff that Ray was showing. So later on, we were talking all the time, like, man, you have to do something with you in, even though those videos are great, but it have to be you. So it took basically 10 years to make it happen, to Ray to make the videos and to do the whole production and back there in Tampa. Well, at the beginning, when we were just training it was in the hood, basically. He will drive from his house to Tampa at that place, and we were using it as a school, or he was using it as a school, a training area. Some people using that place, you know, to fix cars, and then other one was storage. And it was pretty nice because it was right by the highway, but yes, in the hood. So it was like constant, all you can hear is people talking loud, the mechanics. Oh yeah, different from later on. And when he moved to Tampa, him and Ray Cole opened a place that it was a Muay Thai and FCS, and it was beautiful, big place near Ybor City. So it was good area and a lot of fun. One of the things is that I work for American Airlines, and I took, due to the martial arts training that I had, I was recommended to take a specialized training in biomechanics. That was in the early 90s, and I started creating specialized training for the company, and eventually in early 2000, they sent me to Latin America, to the stations subcontracted by American Airlines to teach biomechanics to reduce the possibilities of injury at work. And when I started doing that, I met such an incredible group of people that they were hungry, very hungry of learning. That was my first hit, that if I ever do something with FCS or anything else, I want to bring it to these people, because everywhere I went, from Colombia to Argentina, they were hungry. So later on, when I got to a higher rank, Ray gave me the chance and told me, yeah, you want to do something, you know, feel free, do videos, etc., to promote the art. I was lucky that due to Facebook and YouTube that I got some messages from Chile, and then from Argentina, and then from Venezuela. So it was everything moving at the same time. So I flew first to Chile and did a seminar there, then another one in Venezuela and in Argentina. And after that, the art started spreading. Again, they were hungry, and they did good. They trained hard.
Like you also mentioned that you were also in Brazil. Did that come later?
Yes, that came later, by the way. This gentleman, Bruno Gabriel Dos Santos, he started writing to me, and I told him about the seminar and testings that we were going to have in Argentina. That was a little bit before 2014. That was in, I believe, 2013. At that time, I made a level 1 video in Spanish, and that was before the 2014 curriculum. And I was helping people out with that. So he got the video, he trained. He already have a background in Filipino arts and other arts. And he went to Argentina and tested, and he did very good. And from there, Brazil got in. Also, a guy from Uruguay went to Chile and got the same thing. So then Uruguay got in. Some guy from Ecuador, 2 guys, by the way, went to Chile also, and because they saw the videos and they saw that I had a seminar there, boom. So little by little, the only one that sadly, due to not only the economics, but the government that fell down was Venezuela. As one of the guys said in my last visit, after this it's gonna be tough. And then when we were supposed to meet again, he said, I can't guarantee you your safety. And he had a security company, so it's like, yeah, so it wasn't good.
Tuhon Ray, you mentioned that you were the ones that helped him organize the curriculum, and then he said he was here with you, and then one night you ironed out a curriculum over a bottle of rum. Is that true?
Yes, it wasn't regular rum. It was pitorro. That is a little bit higher octane rum with fruit. And by the way, that one was with guava pitorro. So we already start writing, and I told him, okay, so next meeting that we get, and it was right in my house. And we'll start moving things around, the things that on your trips you saw that they were important for the curriculum. And then also on my trips, I put my 2 cents, and we started, okay, he wanted to change some stuff that it was on level 4 to level 2 so that people could get that. By the way, is the first transition drill in the left hand that you learn in level 2, that was in level 4 before. So he moved that, and then other stuff that he said, no, this is important, and let's think about that, and then we will train it, practice it right there. Yeah, that could be here, and then I started writing and moving everything, and yeah, we did it. First, music, the love for music. And we don't do that much karaoke. We do have a lot of singing all the time, and a lot of places, and a lot of live bands, and live music, and with all kind of music. And Filipinos, and from when I went to Manila, Boracay, Luzon, everything was the same attitude. Very good people. You'll be taken care of unless you do something very wrong. And then you'll meet the other side, the dark side. And that happened in both cultures. So it's all good. I really enjoy the Filipino culture.
Which lechon do you like better?
I do have to say that I don't eat much pork. And when I was there in the Philippines, I didn't want to risk it because it can be heavy on my body. But I read the ingredients and the recipe. I'm dying to really try a good lechon from the Philippines. And because here, of course, you have a good lechon also, but chuleta cancán and all those stuff with cuerito and morcillas and all those different dishes, but I'm intrigued about the lechon from Philippines. So maybe next time. In 2010, when I got my LG in FCS, and I thought, it would be cool to learn some other art straight from the Grandmaster. I was lucky to do it with Ray. And so I started thinking about it, and then in 2011, I asked Ray, what do you think, what art I should get into that I can go straight and train directly with the Grandmaster? And he mentioned Balintawak. He mentioned Bobby. But at that time, Bobby had surgery, had some problems, so it took a while, and I kept asking until he said, oh, he's doing better now. I'm gonna call him, and then we'll see. I don't know what Ray told him, but he just gave me his number, and I called GM Bobby, and he just talked to me like an old friend, and he invited me to go there, and there I was. And when I was getting close to his house, he sent somebody to pick me up. That, again, I was lucky that it was Brian Corey, who also I knew from FCS because he was an FCS instructor. So I reunite with him. And between those two, because Bobby told Brian, help him out. There were no videos of the curriculum at that time. So Brian helped me out, and we trained, we record, and then I took back. And after a couple of visits, I did my level 1, 2, and 3. I would say the way that it's been taught is very different. And once I start learning it, it's like, it's a beautiful way of teaching the art. Also, the way it's practiced is so different from anything else that I got. So it was very interesting for me to, wow, how can you get to that explosiveness, but that way of training. And since I love the teaching part and the understanding and how people learn and understand and pass the knowledge, I fell in love with that. It was very different, but very close in the other way of the brotherhood. Well, once I set myself, I did that level 1, 2, 3, and I was lucky enough to bring that to my guys in South America. Specifically Franco in Argentina. I told the guys, well, I'm learning this art. I'm doing it also to bring it here to you guys. Who's willing to help me? Franco was the one. He didn't speak English at the time. He started taking English courses, started practicing. So when I was growing up, he was practicing every time we would go to Argentina. And then when I did level 6 COA, and I told him, well, I guess this is it. And we have to work it out and see how can you get your visa and everything, so you can eventually go there and test, because I can test you. And I think you're ready. And he did. It's an example of dedication and setting a path, so let's go, let's do this. He did it, and I'm happy, and I hope that that will help everyone in South America to take that example, make the decision to make things right. You want your goal, go get it. I want as many people in the art, at least in Puerto Rico, is growing, especially between the police and security, and also some of the military, U.S. military that are training with us. I hope that eventually it will be more use of the FCS in the training for the cops. In general, for Latin America, if it's possible to put it in every country. And now we're only missing Paraguay, Bolivia, and there's people in Peru that are starting to practice, but they're not official. Venezuela will be hard. Other than that, Central America, until we get in every country somebody, that would be good. That would be great. But one of the things that sometimes is difficult, people think that if you have a rank in whatever system, that you can come and, you can validate and give me this rank, and we don't. You have to test. And that sometimes put people back. They want to get things easy, and it's not.